Well, we shall see.
Yes. Well, good evening and welcome back to the Bridge Broadcast Show. I'm your host, Tina Boyle Whyte, and I am excited to be back with you again. For those of you who are just joining me this week, this is the Bridge Broadcast Show where we aim to get you from where you are to where you want and need to be. And you know what? Tonight is no different from any other night. We just want to give thanks to our partners, WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network, where they support what we do to bring the message to you. Amen. I am just excited about what WYTV7 is doing for us and doing for you. Well, tonight with me, I'm really excited to have my guest, Susie Roberts, with Caliana Organics with us. And tonight we have been talking through a series of spiritual transformation. And if you notice, there is a consistent theme that I'm bringing to you to touch you spirit, soul, and body. And whoever we bring on the show, it is aiming to really deal with you, the whole person, and to deal with every area that you are potentially dealing with. And our guest this evening, Susie Roberts, is going to do just that. She's going to share with us her spiritual transformation. And without further delay, Susie, welcome to our show tonight. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you're here. And not only that you're going to share your spiritual transformation, we're going to share later in the show a little bit about your experience with breast cancer awareness and the message that you want to share with the world. So I would like for you to start off, Susie, sharing with us and the audience. We are around the world. Share with the audience your spiritual transformation, and it could be as early as or as later as if you like.
Well, it's been an interesting journey. My spiritual transformation happened when I was 20 years old, and I had a really interesting job. Some would call it that, others wouldn't. But I used to sell encyclopedias door to door. And I had the opportunity to meet a Christian family that talked to me about the Lord. And that's how I came to know Jesus, in a small town in Iowa. And my life hasn't been the same since.
Wow, what a blessing. What part of Iowa? I have family in Iowa.
You know, I honestly don't even remember the name of the town. It was a very small town, but there was this lovely family, and I went to their house about noon and ended up staying there for about 12 hours. And yeah, it's a long story. I have to tell you some other time. But they talked to me about the Lord and told me how my life could be changed. And it was something that I had been avoiding because the Lord was wooing me, but I didn't want to have a relationship with him. So I avoided him at all costs. And as a matter of fact, that particular day, every time I walked up to a door, because I would have to do cold calls, I would avoid any house that had Christian sayings on the door or a cross or anything, because I just didn't want to deal with it. I wasn't ready, so I thought. But I met this particular family, and there was just something different about them. They had something that I wanted. And so that's how I came to know the Lord. And I literally got saved in the 11th hour. I got there about noon, and about 11:15 that night, I said, okay, yes, I want to ask the Lord into my life.
Wow, that's amazing. You shared something. You shared a word. You called it wooing. Talk to our audience about what when you say woo, when the Lord wooed you, what does that mean? Many around the world may not understand that terminology and how that played a part in your heart.
You know, many may not understand the word, but I guarantee you, anybody that has had any kind of encounter with the Lord has been wooed. They just didn't know it. And that's what the Lord does. He lovingly draws us to him. And he gives us all these opportunities to come to know him. And even though you may not understand the word, you understand the concept. There's just something about the Lord that it just makes you want to know him. And like I said, he lovingly draws you to him. So I guarantee all of your audience has experienced it in some form or another.
So let me help the audience understand what you're saying. It's a pursuit. It's how God pursues us, how he draws our heart, how he brings people into our lives to encourage us at times
Exactly.
when we don't even know him, how there is encounters that you don't understand why, when there's dreams or visions that you have and you don't understand why, when things begin to happen and you don't understand why, there's a pursuit that God has for us in our heart, that he wants us to be drawn to him. And that's what Susie is talking about, wooing. Susie,
Yes, you nailed it. That's exactly it. People that you encounter, situations, those are all things that the Lord is using to draw you to him.
Susie, you shared something that many people in the world deal with, and you shared it's something very intimate. It's something that most families don't share. Are you willing to share with our audience and to speak to that topic on tonight?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you want me to introduce what that topic
Sure, go
is?
ahead.
So Susie and I had a very interesting conversation around family and generational curses. And if you're wondering ever why certain things happen in your family, and it happens to several people, generational curses. And so it's one of those things that spiritually in the bloodline occurs. And Susie was sharing with us that her family has dealt with depression. And I'm going to let Susie talk a little bit more about how depression has kind of spread over her family and how it's impacted. And it's only to share, not to bring shame, but to bring light, so that as we're talking about these things, we bring light to the things that where the enemy is taunting us, and we bring light to that thing, because we know that that's where God can, the power of God can be pressed on that thing, so that you can get deliverance in your life. Susie, go ahead and share with us what happened, and then how God has miraculously delivered you or setting you free. It's that freedom.
Well, I've absolutely been set free. And I just want to talk to the people and say a lot of people are suffering from depression and they don't even realize it. They feel down or tired, or they aren't motivated to do something. Their entire body aches. And they just think that that's normal because they've dealt with it for so long. But that's not normal. And you can be delivered from it. My experience with depression, the first time I noticed that something wasn't right, I was 5 years old. That was the first time that I thought about suicide at 5. I felt sad and just horrible, and I didn't know why. And depression is so prevalent in our society, especially in the African American community, but it's something we don't want to talk about. You know, we say, buck up, get over it, move on. And that's exactly what they told me when I was 5 years old. And I shared with my family that I wanted to die. And, you know, the term drama queen wasn't in play then, but they basically told me I was being a drama queen. And so I battled depression for the next 7 years. And then when I was 12 years old, I tried to kill myself. And then I tried it again when I was 14, taking every pill, every medicine I could get my hands on. Now, normally what happens when you take a whole bunch of pills, you throw up, and then you just kind of, asphyxiate on your own vomit, and you die. I didn't throw up. All the pills stayed in my system. I had a slight headache, but that was it. God knew that I had to stay around. And even with taking all of those pills, I lived. But I still suffered from depression. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And I suffered from depression for the next 40 years. Now, in between that, I did find out through a Christian counselor that yes, I was depressed. And they wanted to do 6 weeks of psychiatric testing on me in a psychiatric hospital, which really devastated me. I was a young mother married with 3 children. I didn't want to leave my children, but I didn't know what was going on. And I knew I needed to get some answers. So I left that therapist's office and I went home and I stood in my kitchen and I said, God, if I have to live like this, just take me home. I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm not doing my family any good. I feel horrible. Just take me home. And immediately the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, well, actually, he flashed before me hamburgers, French fries, and banana splits. I had been living on that because I'm a stress eater. When I get stressed out, that's my drug of choice, hamburgers, French fries, and banana splits. And immediately this flashed before my eyes, and the Lord said, this is what you're eating. Change what you're eating, and the depression will go away. And so I did. I went on a journey to get better, to find out more about natural foods and healthy eating. And I prayed and asked the Lord to send someone into my life to help me. And I met this lovely lady who spent the next 5 years teaching me how to cook organic foods, vegetarian soul food, you name it, I learned how to make it. And guess what? The depression went away. It went away. And in the process, 30 pounds went away. And I tell people all the time, nutrition is the key. You know, the father of medicine, Hippocrates, said, let medicine be your food, or let food be your medicine. And that's what I've learned to do. I don't deal with depression anymore. It's not even an issue in my life. I feel amazing. I have everything to live for. And I just started on a new journey. At age 58, a year and a half ago, I started an organic gluten-free baking company. And I always tell people, this is my motto. It's never too late to be what you might have been. And I encourage people, no matter what age you are, where you are in your life, if you have a dream, if you have a vision, go for it. If the Lord gives you the green light, go for it. And all of this kind of ties together with battling depression, with just my overall well-being. As a matter of fact, my company, Kalyana, is a Sanskrit word for well-being. And that's what I strive to do, help other people to get there. And I just want to encourage your viewers, anybody who's suffering from depression, who just doesn't feel good, doesn't have any energy, there's an answer. You're not crazy. You're wondering why your body aches from head to toe. Nutrition, nutrition, nutrition. No, you don't need that anti-anxiety medication that the doctor is trying to give you. You don't need antidepressants. Depression hurts, Cymbalta helps. Cymbalta does help for a while, I know because I was on it. But it will betray you in the end. And it will no longer do the job that it needs to do. But there's a sure way that you can help yourself get better, and it's through what you eat. And I know there's somebody out there looking, and you're probably sitting on your sofa, eating a bowl of ice cream, eating some cake, whatever. Put it down. Put it down. Because that's what's making you feel bad. The sugar, the empty calories from white flour, white sugar, those are things that kill your body. That diabetes that you're suffering with, that hypertension, that high cholesterol, all of these things can be controlled through nutrition. And in the process, you're going to feel so much better. You're going to get up, go out, do something, enjoy the world, just go see the world.
Wow, what a blessing that you have for our audience. In that you talk about what happened as a child to now you are blessing the world with your organic business, Kalyana Organics, and really hitting areas that many in the nation and the world suffer with all kinds of diseases. And you're right. It is nutrition, nutrition,
Absolutely.
nutrition.
And I tell you, I really feel that the Lord allowed me to go through that for a reason. I mean, who thinks of killing themselves at 5? That's how deeply depressed I was. And all those years, it's been a journey, but it's been a labor of love, because I know that what I've learned, I can share with someone else, and they won't have to go through that. They don't have to spend 20, 30, 40 years wondering, what's the matter with me? I must be crazy. Why does my body hurt all the time, but the doctor is telling me there's nothing wrong with me? There's an answer.
Wow, Susie, you know what? You shared something else with things not being normal. I really want to hit on this because many adults are dealing with this. Adult children, go ahead and describe it and give us a brief description about adult children and how you walk through that.
Alcoholic parents. Yeah, I'm one of those.
And just so they hear what you were an adult child of alcoholic parents, and there's many people who are dealing with it. And talk about some of the ways in which you life was going on and you thought it was normal, but it wasn't normal.
Yeah. When I was growing up, my house was always chaotic. I never knew what the environment was going to be like when I walked in. 1 minute it could be perfectly calm. The next minute, my mother would be throwing pots of food on the ceiling, having a fight with my stepfather. It was chaotic. That's the only way I can describe it. And consequently, when I became an adult, I thought that was normal. And here I married this lovely man who came from a very normal, quote, normal household. Dad went to work, mom stayed home, raised the kids. It was a loving family. He's a very laid-back person, very seldom loses his temper or anything. And I came from exactly the opposite. So I thought that that's how life was supposed to be. if my house was quiet and calm, I thought something was wrong. It didn't feel right to me. And it's like I had to have some kind of chaos or turmoil going on to feel normal. And one day I was talking to one of my neighbors, and she said, hold on a second, I'll be right back. And she came back a few minutes later with a book called Adult Children of Alcoholic Parents, Coping. And she said, here, read this. And as I read the book and I looked at all of the symptoms, I realized that was me. And it was like someone turned on the light. Why I would have bouts of anger or crying fits or just depressed and withdrawn, and there's so many different symptoms. And when I read that, I thought, oh my gosh, this is me. And so I called my husband at work and I said, you gotta come home. You gotta come home right now. And he did. And I said, look at this. And I had underlined a lot of stuff in the book. And he goes, wow, this is you. This is what's been going on with you. Once I learned that I was an adult child of alcoholic parents, my world had to be perfect, by the way. That's one of the big symptoms. You always want to present yourself in a good light. No matter what's going on in your life, you don't let people know that anything is going on. You don't like calm. If it's calm and peaceful, it's a problem. Gosh, it's been so long since I've dealt with this. I think I've forgotten a lot of the symptoms, but it was very much an issue in my life and in my marriage, but the Lord got me away from that.
And I would say it's a good thing that you've forgotten, but
I forgot it.
Even more so that you have transformed from it. And this is what we talk about on our show, really getting from where you are to where you want and need to be. You know, sometimes we don't know we want to be there, but you may need to be there. And this is what the bridge is all about. You know, really meeting people on the bridge and walking them, you know, over the bridge. And if there's anybody that's just joining us, we have Susie Roberts of Caliana Organics of Milwaukee sharing her story and how God has really moved her from where she was as a 5-year-old to now as an adult, thriving, beautiful, 58 years old or young, and she's doing things that
60 now.
Oh my God, 60 years old, just doing things that she had never imagined. But you know, you are being who you've already been. Did I say that right?
It's never too late to be what you might have been.
It's never too late to be what you might have been. And so, you know, we're just grateful. It's not too late. Don't get it misunderstood that you do have time. You know, even also in light of this Breast Cancer Awareness Month, we have Susie Roberts on the show to talk about breast cancer awareness. As you see that she has the breast cancer awareness ribbon on, and she has a special story and some things to share with us this evening before we begin wrapping up the show. Go ahead, Susie, and share with us, why do you wear this ribbon? Why do you wear the breast cancer awareness ribbon?
This is for Sonia, my beautiful friend, Sonia. The 28th of this month, it will be a year since she went home to be with the Lord. And she fought a good fight. She fought a good fight.
It's okay. It's okay.
Sonia was a very special person, but I need every woman watching this broadcast to do something for her. I need for every one of you to be proactive about your health. So often, we're so busy taking care of everyone else, We neglect ourselves. You got to stop doing that, ladies, especially when it comes to getting mammograms. Go get one. And if your doctor tells you that he or she sees something, don't ignore it. Sonia fought breast cancer 7 years ago, and she won. She went into remission. And about 3.5 years ago, her doctor found a spot on her lung. And I said, Sonia, you need to do something about this. And she said, no, I'm not going to let anybody cut on me again. I'm not going to even check it out because I know it's benign. God says it's benign. And I don't know why we do that to God so often. We want God. We want to tell him what to do instead of him telling us what to do. And she said, God says it's benign. I said, Sonia, I really think you should go and have that checked out. No. And she ignored it for about 2 years. And all of a sudden, she got this cough that wouldn't go away. And she rationalized that, oh, it's springtime. The pollen count must be up. During the summer, she said, I'm coughing because my air conditioner is on all the time. And in the fall, she said, oh, the job where I work, there's a lot of dust, and that's making me cough. And guess what? I was a coward. I didn't say, get off your butt and go to the doctor. This isn't normal. It's not right. I zipped it. And I carry that with me every single day, that I didn't just grab my friend by the hand and say, you're going to find out what's going on with you. By the time she went to see the doctor, it was too late. She was in stage 4 breast cancer. And it had spread to her lungs, her brain. It was too late. Whereas if she had just checked out that spot, maybe, just maybe, she would have had a fighting chance. So I know that there's probably someone watching this broadcast who has had symptoms, or they have a lump or whatever, and they're saying, nope, I'm not going to deal with it. Please, I need you to deal with it. I need you to go see your doctor. There are people depending on you. Your children, your spouse, your friends. It affects everybody. So please, 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 go get that mammogram.
Well, Susie, thank you so much for being with us and spending time with us and sharing your life with us and sharing how you've come through transformation. And thank you for sharing with us about Sonia and reminding us the importance of being mindful of your health and your body and nutrition. I want to encourage everyone to look up Kalyana, Kalyana Organics. Order some gluten-free organic food from Kalyana. She is spreading in Milwaukee, and we didn't even get a chance to talk about her opportunity to be on a show called Rev Up in Milwaukee, but we'll have Susie back to talk about the things that are happening in her business, and we might even see her in the kitchen somewhere. So,
and can I just say one more thing? For anybody that is battling cancer, nutrition is still the key, because you can use that to fight cancer, and there are so many people who have changed the way they eat. Stage 3, stage 4 cancer, and they've won, including Joel Osteen's mother, Dodie. She was stage 4 cancer, and she beat it. Nutrition.
Well, thank you, Susie. I just want to thank my audience for hanging in there with us and being with this on us on the Bridge Broadcast Show. It's been a blessing being with you. Check me out, tinaboylewhite.com or The Bridge or WYTV7.org, YouTube, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. You're going to see The Bridge because it's time for your transformation. Meet me on the bridge where you too can get your transformation in life. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again on next week. Have a good night.